Welcome, I'm Yoslaw. So now I'm gonna bring you Pink Noise. This game came out during March and it's a visual novel. It's only the first episode because then it's in early access. Of course, when you buy, you will have access to the other episodes, but they don't have a date because I don't even know if it's or not kickstarted or not the other episodes, because the first one it was on Kickstart to get funded. The other episodes I don't know about that, so only the devs can answer about that. So I played the other two demos that the game had, and it's very cool. So let's see how it is the Act 1, the full Act 1. But the art style and story seems good, because it's like an horror visual novel. Fall comes to Riverwood with chilling winds and the first drizzle. A bleak mist obscures the narrow streets, clinging to the rooftops, tangling in the bush and swirling around fields. Fog and murky blackness with the peculiar suburb, nestled amid the forests and mountains. It's a decaying, quiet place waiting for wind. As the evening wears on, the town is wrapped in thickening twilight, with only a few street lights serving as solitary island of illumination in an ocean of darkness. On one such evening, ordinary and cold, 4 teenagers stroll around an old park engrossed in a lively discussion. The first fallen leaves rustle underfoot as the wind reaches the trees, their branches grown out along plaintive creek as if already lamenting the loss of their motley attire. Two of the teenagers, a tall boy and a fair airy girl, walk hand in hand, their friendly careful ops from one paved slab to the next, balancing as through a bottomless chasm might yawn open beneath them. A quiet stooping boy in glass trails behind them, casting glances at the road ahead. The street splits in two, then veers sharply out toward the wasteland. Just half century before, a tiny school stood there, now only a barely discernible foundation. Heaps of broken bricks, choked by stubborn vines, remain to remind them of its erstwhile existence. Year by year, students have taken that path, carried with them their thoughts and fears, high hopes and grand dreams, from tough exams and first crush to bullies bonks on the head, or simply yearnings to be the star player of a local team. Be it a glow in autumn gold, cloaked in verdant summer green, or blanketed beneath snow drifts, Riverwood will never forget them, just as they will never forget their town and its secrets. The older a place grows, the more mysterious it keeps locked away. One of the girls slips into distorted blur of light cast by an old street lamp. Ain't gonna catch me. Eva wipes shadows webs off her cardigan. Gossamer threads only she can perceive. She glances at the overgrown bush, which I have long since forgotten the tender care of the gardening shears. No shout time tonight, beasties. The other girl scoffs at her friend's silly gestures. If Brian was as agile as you, we wouldn't have been stuck in school after dark. The chemistry room's never been so tidy. She wriggles her fingers to demonstrate her palm red and wrinkled from the hot water. It's not my fault. Miss Opstorm didn't save enough teeth to avoid spitting and lisping. Besides, she should explain it better. The bottle must have been left open. Actually, she explains just fine, but you still put 3 chlorine tablets in the rubbing alcohol instead of wine. Surprise, reaction was extreme. Yeah, that bang was something else. My left ear still ringing. Eva stops hovering in a faint halo of light and nods. She's never been reprimanded at school before today. Sure, she would have been way more upset if it hadn't been Brian's fault, but still. It's just another adventure, something her and her friends will laugh about one day, and a happy memory is worth more than any reprimand, especially when her parents will probably forget it by tomorrow. Alright. He raised his hand apologetically. Next time we team up, I won't let you down. I'll put in 2 chlorine tablets. The group has a row of files as dissimilar to one another as possibly in a suburb. The time-worn house windows glow faintly in sepia tones as though the light itself has aged and can no longer disperse the deepening darkness. The buildings as they pass seem to be contending for the greatest neglect. Every other resident will be considered an eccentric in any other town. For instance, Greybone has leaned on the rusty mower on his front stoop instead of a cane for 2 decades. The modern duplex across the road still bears the scars of a long-forgotten fire. Its windows are boarded up even during the day. It has miserable look. The teens keep their distance. Oh, Miss Harris's house. The gloomy old lady had knitted yet another pair of shaped cats, proudly displaying in it on the terrace, thus expand her ugly army. Right, you had a cup of tea together. Did baby Tony apologize? Hans ever brought out fletched one of the cats and take it home. Neither of their parents had called any attention to it, so she'll have had to explain herself that taking other people's belongings without permission was wrong. No, I was the one to apologize. Mrs. Arvitz didn't say a word. She only gave us a cold stare and sniffled loudly. She scared poor Tony so much that he couldn't fall asleep for half a night. You have such a giving heart when it comes to your blood. You might be raising a hull of a knight. Why in the world we wanna snatch a cat though? He was just a little kid. He came, he saw, he took it all. There's only to tell her friend that Tony had intended to give Eva the cat. He knew she wanted a pet more than anything in the world. Yule thought he could cheer her up with at least a toy one. He'll never take anything that didn't belong to him before, not out of fear of getting caught or punished. He simply found stealing shameful. Tony will sooner give away his breakfast and then steal something for someone weaker than him. No doubt that kind of tattoo will make school hard for him, but such is his nature. Contemplate their broad heart of gold, have a smile softly. Look at the cats. Those fake cats. They pass by Miss Harris' terrace, curiously eyeing her odd dolls. Twilight makes the cat silhouettes look eerie. Their pearl button eyes glimmer in the fading light as if they know secrets that have been buried too long. If I go crazy one day, I'll definitely buy a nice crib close to the park. Neighbors here match me perfectly. Yeah, I can't stand this street. It's like it's lost in time and space. How about we head through the square? No one protests, so she leads them onward, sweeping into the nearest alley. A gust of wind bursts through the narrow alleyway, permeating the air with the stench of raw wooden planks and rotting garbage. The houses in the alley look like they have been copied and pasted. They were likely being built at the same time to house factory workers. The only thing that differs is the light in the windows, on or off, making it clear whose shift is tonight. Through Christmas, before Brian got beaten up here, some high school students apparently didn't appreciate his sharp down. They shoved him into a snowbank and packed snow under his sweater, but most humiliating part was a neighbor kicking them all out. She came out onto the doorstep with one Brian classmate, a cute but overly chatty girl. By the very next day, those school had heard the story about him shaking snow out of his pants and weeping like a puppy. You'll have preferred being rolled into a giant snowman and left there like that still spring. Brian adjusts the backpack full of baseball equipment, which has crawled down his shoulder, and walks up to Ashley. I'm so fed up with this stupid school. All these teachers, homework, tests. But the year is just started. That only makes me want to study even less. There's nothing worse than coming back to school after summer. He jumps over a puddle and takes Ashley's hands. It's like wearing old trainers you already grown out of. I can't wait for college. When I start working, I'll buy real catcher's gear, or at least a better glove. His palms still hurt from Friday practice session. The equipment donated to their team left much to be desired. Better buy a slugger straight away. It will pay off much sooner. Best case now you can be a bouncer at a bar. Ashley laughs at his childness. Brian doesn't get complexity of the world at all. Dad says a good job like his is hard to find without higher education. Ashley grabs her Leo Zodiac pendant. It's a nervous habit, something she does whenever she says something important. It calms her. College is just another place to study. This world's too cruel. Illness, starvation, school. I like school though. Michael tries to squeeze into the conversation how long he's been trailing behind the others, glancing suspicious at parked pickups as if they might bite. He hasn't kept up with his friends since he noticed two silhouettes in an old Ford. One female and one male. The mutilated face stared back at him. He could have sworn he heard a hoarse, gurgling whisper. The garbled words sunk into his skin like windshield fragments, making his chest constrict like his ribs were breaking. Every breath pained him like his lungs were pooling with blood. Then a light that flashed over one of the doorsteps, dispersing the blackness. Suddenly both seats were empty again, and stage vision turned into nothing but a local flour mill uniform hanging from a grab handle. Michael wiped sweat off his forehead and listened carefully to his friends. Of course, I'll love school too if I had your scores, Mikey. Exactly. Agreeing by a quick squeeze Ashley's hand. Maybe I should wear glasses so sounds like homework doesn't look so boring through them. They walk by Murdoch's front garden onto the street flooded with pink and blue neon store signs. You'll better stop complaining, we only have 3 years of school left. Just imagine, life is gonna be completely different afterward. We might even lose touch. To have the idea of moving away feels like teleport to an unfamiliar planet, so many new people, places and interesting stories. She hasn't even fully explored Hibaru yet. In her mind, the town's old house and old residents still harbor so many secrets, enigmatic and dark. In comparison, a huge city feels like a bottomless well, impossible to fully drain even if you add 100 years. In a future like that, it will be hard to make time for anything from the past, but she doesn't plan to forget her loved ones forever. If friendship heal, distance means nothing. My dad calls his friends from other states every single day. She stepped to add that they mainly have business conversation and argue often, but they don't need to know that. In her mind, her parents are role models everyone should strive to imitate, not just her and her brother. There isn't a single family in the entire town happier or more close knit than Ashley, and that's nothing but the truth. Well, a couple's cornfields and state borders ain't enough to break you up. What the hell do Ashleys that your love and cornfields have in common? Look around. Eva stops and points towards the house swaying in the darkness. Is anything really happening up here? Crunk Jim driving a tractor into a ravine was practically the only breaking news here in 6 months. Well, adulthood is a real challenge. People grow up, then they start to feel sorry that time flew by so fast and they want to experience school life again. She paused, searching for the right words. Quoting someone else is one thing, but will she soon regret those bygone days herself? After all, Eva already recalls her early childhood with nostalgia warmth. Back then, every little thing felt like it was brimming with wonder. Now a doll is no longer a sorcerer's princess or a travel from a faraway world. A toy soldier is just a piece of plastic, and a blanket no longer serves as a battlefield for alien creatures. Making stories up for odds is simple, but how are you supposed to fix yourself? Maybe the older you get, the duller and more colorless the world becomes. It's like going back to fairy tale you weren't grateful enough for earlier. They are just nice words, nothing more. Bring adults back to textbooks and they will howl all day. I don't remember any fairy tales where the characters were forced to read. What is this? Walt Whitman, a legendary 19th century American poet who celebrated freedom, nature, and the lives of ordinary people, best known for his collection Leaf of Grass. We have this. What about you, Michael? Me neither. The friends stroll from one store to the next, looking at the flickery signs. Up close, they no longer seem bright and cheerful. They look rather ramshackle and out of place in dilapidated suburb. Let's go home, okay? Dad's on shift today, but if he comes back to grab a bite to eat and I ain't there... Brian scratches his neck and sticks out his tongue. Ashley laughs and punches him in the shoulder. Michael, trailing behind everyone, suddenly stops and looks at the only sign that still sparks as brightly and cheerful as the day it was hung. The arcade open. I doubt there is anyone there this late. We can place as fighter. Usually calm and quiet, he now blossoms. Behind his thick glass, his eyes shine with passion. Totally no stupid helpers, suckers or high school jerks. The boys lean against the dusty wind as happy as if they are meeting their idols. The girls only snort in irritation. What, so you are not gonna run back to your crib to avoid daddy shellacking? I'll risk it, there's always a chance dad will kick you in the head, but a chance to throw Hadoukens from Street Fight and not waiting in freaking line for the game? Now that's rare. It takes so little to make them happy, doesn't it? Ashley glares at her friend. Let them play. By the way, did you hear about the arcade machine that appears in the hall by itself? Ashley rolls her eyes. Eva's fantasy and reality have little in common. Her friend refused to grow up. In her world, even a tattered old shoe might open its jaw and spin some ridiculous yarn, and that's exactly why Ashley adores Eva. She's so incredibly different from Ashley's overly rational parents, and from Ashley too. With her, getting Bora is an impossible mission. Even if they were both locked in an empty basement, Eva will still manage to discover something fascinating there. She'll pull Ashley in and get her into trouble again. They will giggle about it later. But Eva doesn't need to know that. It isn't like anyone can stop her anyway. You start playing and can't stop, the game never ends, it's impossible. But you try over and over again, forget about eating or even go to the bathroom. Over and over again, not thinking of your parents and friends. Over and over again until you run out of your allowance, can't afford breakfast, and stay hungry for the rest of the week cause you are dumb. Michael peels away from the glass and adjusts his lopsided glass. Well, that doesn't sound so scary if you got no allowance to begin with. Wanna go in or what? Gosh, they are looking at us like dogs staring at a steak. Ashley waves her hand utterly. It's creepy to go home when it's so dark out, but if you win 100 tickets, me and Eva are gonna pick a prize. Act 2, it's high time for games, because this is for all episode 1. Each episode has a certain act. The spacious room is somehow stuff is permeated with stench of hot plastic, unsuccessfully covered up by pungent berry air fresheners. It smells like wasted time, as if this shack smells nothing like school. The clamor of screensavers and them while through smells into a terrible cacophony. No wonder the zoned out cashier is shielding himself from it with a set of greasy, cushioned headphones. The walls are plastered with posters, promotional flyers and all sorts of paper trash. However, one hat stands out. If you beat the record, you can win tickets and exchange them for prize. Such generosity was easily explained. With the start of the school year, kids have a bit more cash in their pockets than usual. There's no one inside except the cashier, yet the floor is peppered with trash from crumpled soda cans to chocolate bar wrappers. There are close to 30 meters. Local kids can only hang out here at this hour in the summer. The alley is packed with all sorts of arcade machines, each game now name glowing invisibly. Clips of characters deliberately falling to beat different levels flash on the screens over and over. The boy starts searching for the most interesting game. So we have here what? La Laga. This was once the most famous game, now it is a veteran arcade cabinet is used only while the others are busy or when couple of truly insane nerds try and fail to break the record of someone named Lily the Rat once or twice a month. As Fight, the best game the Owl has ever seen, Q and Ren are frozen on the signboard, ready to jump each other. The floor around the arcade machine is brightly polished, worn down by students' sneakers. And then we have Monkey King. Monkey King arcade golden oldie. The game machine is ancient and in poor condition. The sign barely even flickers anymore. One of the woods is cracked. It's over here! The boys run toward the machine. It hasn't yet been wrecked the way some of times its time-worn neighbors have. Even so, the booters and plastic casing bear scuffs, cracks and grubby marks left by countless kids' hands. Worst of all, instead of freely music, the machine is imitating only a hoary wheeze, like an old man struggling to clear his throat and instead pushing a death rattle out of his rusty lungs. A piece of cardboard with a blood-curdling inscription is stuck to the screen. Temporarily out of order, no cashier cannot fix it. God, where is your justice? Who's the god of computer nerds? The monkey holding the barrel? Baron glumps something in response and Michael just shrugs. A technician is coming, but not still next Tuesday, so y'all need to choose on some other game. Try Road Blasters, it's freshest here. The cashier points at the brand new arcade game, displaying a car blowing up and drowning in a fiery, pixelated cloud. Dang it! Michael's voice trembles, he seldom lets himself betray such emotion, but Brian has his back. What else you got, other than cars? All that are a bag of chips. If you are ranked in the top 5 of Pumpkin Man, I'll give you a double prize. He nods towards the counter. Alright, no one really plays this trash, you got a real shot at setting a record. A grey cat logging on the shed next to another machine captures the girl's attention. 4 letters shine on her pink collar. Lucy. So sweet! Pet the cat! The cat flatters her ears and grumbles. I bet you $5 she doesn't remember how clean hands with no cheese ball dust on them feel. She kinda looks like the cat mom was trying to paint last month. Let me guess, the cat in the painting had mandibles and a pair of tentacles? Ugh, I wish. She was just in the background. Mom paints people, you know how it is. Ashley knows, she wishes she did it though. Those paintings are why she prefers inviting Eva over rather than visiting her. Well, one of the reasons anyway. She had a slumber party at Eva's place twice, both nights. Ashley had been plagued by nightmares. The root cause was a film masterpiece Eva's mom considered her favorite, compared to those monstrosities plain old horror movies were particularly bright, cheery cartoons. Meanwhile, the boys approached the coin-operated pumpkin machine. Instead of usual Mr. or Miss Pac-Man, a bright orange pumpkin is flying around tough levels, eating licorice candies. The display sears their eyes with poisonous shades as a bunch of green blots chase the voracious pumpkin. What you think? Are these ghosts? Michael peers at the sign. Here's a hunter shooting the pumpkin with a shotgun. They are restless hunter souls then. Awesome, let them catch the pumpkin, then everyone's happy. The hunters are safe in their graves and we are home. Brian sighs, draws a handful of coins from his pocket and inserts them. The coin clatter through machine metal innards and settle in its stomach. The maze dissolves into pixels and rearranges itself into the first level. Its corners are speckled with candies and the ghosts begin darting ravenously around their cage. Back home, with no price and living till we empty out that price counter. The cashier shudders at thought. We close in half an hour. Brian winks at Michael. Then he's gonna have 15 minutes left over to cry over his empty shoulder. So now we have to play. Level 1. Hello. Oh no! I couldn't hit already that. Oh! Collect these. Nice. Now he needs just to run. I missed those. Damn it. Well, I guess we got to be lucky next time. Who knew these ghosts will be so nimble? I'd rather read my history book than play this flickering trash can. Brian pats his pocket, secret open for a couple more coins, but all that turns up are keys and a crumpled pack of silent menthol cigarettes, which he should probably hide before heading home. He used to smoke only around the older guys on his team, hoping to look tough and grown up. For each missing cigarette in the pack, their coach made them run a lap, but that didn't deter them. As for his friend, Brian had a bad habit is still a secret. They'll never prove, no doubt Ash will call him a idiot, and Ev will just lecture him about quicker and more entertaining ways to kick the bucket. Michael won't judge him out loud, but he'll scrunch his face up that the smoke. At that moment Mario will go out and take a drag. The pointless game is making him snap. He feels like giving that treasures machine a good thumb. We won this time, you dirty piece of iron. Frustrated guys start off toward the exit, but Eva catch them. Look what I found, someone hung them on toilet paper holder. The restroom is a perfect normal place for most sensitive people. She only wants to cheer her friends up, but that doesn't mean they won't tease. Her cheeks flush with embarrassment as she holds out a strip of 8 winning tickets. It's only enough for a cheap keychain, but they are out of money, so they eat up the cashier. How it's going? The same as your arcade machine repairs. The cashier sniffs. So we have here that we need 10,000, the game pot. Actually, fortune tell horoscopes. 30. Slinky. Found the plug. All VHS, no price tag. Ain't what is this crap? In case she turns around, surprise. No idea, someone must have left it here. Y'all can just take it since you spent all over your Shadow or Pumpkin Man anyways. Maybe it's a movie or something. But what if the owner comes for it? It's already been here all week. No doubt nobody needs it. Size visitor forgets stuff here all the time. Y'all wanna see my cap collection? No thanks. She snatched up the cassette and hides it in her bag. Brian hands the cashier his tickets. Just give them to the next poor sucker who dares punish themselves with that crappy pumpkin game. Tell Ami's not alone in this world. We feel his pain. The guy head for the exit, but suddenly the cat leaps off the chair, rubs against Eva and Ashley's leg. No longer display Lucy swish her tails. We excite our gaze affection at teenage. You'll never guess she looked like a bristling hedgehog just half an hour ago. Her nose twitched as if she caught a whiff of her favorite food. Silly cat, it's me and Michael who deserve some compassion after what that game did to us. Never mind, we got much more than expected. Eva pats the bag joyfully. And what will that be? A secret. A bad sign. Act 3. Most of the sides are already off, submerging the thickets, basements and are always in darkness. It splashed out on the square, engulfing it in blackness. Only a few pickups and unlocked bicycles are still around, all parked by Marshall Sue's bar. The wind sweeps over the fields, the helmet that usually toys with the harvest corn now mourns formally, plunging the suburb into melancholy. Winter will change everything. Stores and bars will be strung with sparkling beads of colorful lights, and snow will smooth the wrinkles and scars of old Riverwood. The town will take on the skeptical, pretty and cozy facade. As a kid, Michael loved strolling around there during Christmas vacation, munching on hot pies and watching snowflakes fall through the thick windows of a coffee shop. Back then, he never noticed the aging buildings, chipped concrete, or the gloomy people trying to fake a smile. In out, however, the suburb's flaws stand out more sharply. It looks unwelcome, grey, lifeless. No wonder ever calls it the season of ghosts. Just thinking of it gives him the creeps. Well, we are late. Granny and Grandpa will be upset. If that's the worst that will happen, then you may as well stay out a little later. Nero pulls out the cassette and looks over it. What you think? Is there anything on it? It looked like the personal archive of a maniac who killed a lot of people and recorded their image for their descendants to watch. A comfy basement, hooks, candles, or an auto shop with buzzsaw and a big meat freezer. The friends pass through the square toward a scattering of newer houses. This area doesn't have much junk lying around as the park does. The residents here are relatively wealthy. Eva's father was smashed, but most of his customers live around here. They always need new furniture, doors, sturdy boards for fresh construction. Nothing bad can happen in a place like that. But our movies have convinced Eva otherwise. Quiet, affluent neighborhoods are exactly where the creepiest things happen. Nobody expects them there, so prey can be easily captured, warm and unaware. What if the cassette is cursed? Police. I bet it's that freak cashier home video. He's probably posing in a French-made costume. They reach Ashley's driveway. It boasts a large yard with plenty of space for a treehouse, a pool, and a heated shed. Fancy house like that to look alien Riverwood, like jamming a few expensive implants into a row of rotten teeth. The suburb is in no hurry to accept them, but over time it will wrap them in its shawl of mist and drizzle, engulf them in vines and which it will be years before they truly belong. For now the house's red-tilled roof still gleams, the pavement has not cracked or sprouted fresh shoots of dogged grass, and the building has not yet sagged beneath the weight of the passing years. The only light still on is her parents' bedroom upstairs, which means Ashley will have to make her own dinner and have it cold. Ash, you have an old VHS player in your shed, don't you? Yeah, but I sure got rid of it after you brought that creepy Italian movie about ballerinas. Ich suspira. They pass by the decorative fence. Eva keeps touching her bag as if making sure the consolation prize is still safe. Ashley might have acted overdramatic, but truth be told, she'll enjoy that movie too. She'll even try to recreate some of its ballet past day. Watching horror movies with friends was a special kind of thrill. You felt less scared but had a way more fun. You'll notice something you'll missed before, discuss the details, and figure out how to fear what. How about, wanna watch? I ain't gonna sleep till I know what's on it. The boys don't mind, they are eager to shake off the sting of defeat in the arcade center so badly that they will prefer getting in trouble all over again for coming home late. Ashley just shrugs and heads for the shed. A comfy place. Act 4. As far as the friends are concerned, Ashley's shed is the best and coziest place in the old suburb. They spend most of the year's evenings there in winter, where there is nowhere else to hang out and high risk of being targeted by the high schoolers' snowballs. There's plenty of space for board games and fooling around. They can be as loud as they like, and Ashley can always bring them snacks or soda from home. Her father always replied to turn the place into a man cave, complete with couch and a big TV, but he's been overwhelmed with work lately, so most of the time the friends are free to use the shed. But that day they aren't alone. Chris, Ashley's older brother, is already inside, lying on a shabby carpet and playing a new console. Only as they enter does Ashley remember that Chris is grounded for coming home drunk from a party. He isn't allowed to see his friends for a month, but some of his buddies must have lent him the gaming console so he won't get too bored at home alone. As the front door squeaks open, he swiftly eyes a pack of cigarettes under the pillow. Phew, it's just you suckers. I thought Daddy showed up and was about to teach me how to live again. What you doing up here? Baby Ashley decided to show you our true family treasures? The shed is filled with dated furniture, living out its last days, and unused equipment covered in dust, plus all the miscellaneous items the family are too lazy to get rid of. Ashley's family is rich enough that they don't need to sell their old junk, so a lot of it has been stuffed into the sheds. An archaic Atari Pong console Ashley's father played as a teenager, but the only control broke long ago, so did the console itself. Chris battery punched back. Someone must have thrown matches and darts at it. The funny scarecrow from the Bennett's fields. Ashley asked Chris to steal it after the Bennett's youngest daughter lost her doll. It was hard to believe, but Eva swore the scarecrow had moved on its own. An antique mirror. Little Ashley loved looking in it and imagined she was a Disney princess. Eva would barely even glance at the mirror. She was 110% convinced that Bloody Mary would come out of it if she was careful. The old motorcycle about 3 years ago, before Ashley and Brian started dating. Brian saddled it up and drove into the creek. Ashley burst into love and Brian was banned from visiting Ashley's house. It seems the ban still hasn't lifted. Chris retrieves the cigarette and pulls the cigarette out of with his teeth. Brian notes the trick so he can try it later. It looks thrilling. He doubts his attempt will look as natural as Chris did, but it's worth a little practice. What if he managed to impress the high schoolers or the guys from neighborhood town baseball team? Taunting opponents and getting on their nerves, it's a time-honored tradition. Brian imagines himself strolling past them, deftly pulling out a cigarette, then smirking and asking why they sent a team of sissies to the game. Don't you have to stay in your room and think remorse? And what are you? Shouldn't you be catching Z's, not wandering around in the dark, or you wanna see who can disappoint our parents the most? He exhales a ring of blue smoke. The winner is clear. No, unlike you, I care about my future. We just want to watch a cassette. Why don't you do something else for a bit? We need TV. As if, get out of here, kids. He turns to the TV and keeps playing. Persuade to deceive. But Ashley isn't going back down. Her brother is as simple and pretty to his own penny. She won't even break a sweat fooling him. All you really know is whose opinion matters more to him than his own, whose personal business he cares about more than video games, what he's afraid of missing out on, what will make him jealous. Ashley's eyes narrow, slide at Chris. I'll trade the TV for some intel, bro. Go on. He's still staring at the screen through the smoke cloud, frantically clicking the controls buttons. We stop on your cronies out there, Sam and Bobby, right? They were asking if you are still grounded. They were pretty upset that you couldn't keep them company. Chris threw his sister a wary glance. Sam and Bobby are real douchebags. Rumors of their wicked deeds are always flying around town. Ashley knows Chris is afraid of them, but he'll still do anything to get in their gang. He constantly smooshing them with free drinks and cigarettes. You really think I'm gonna fall for that bull? It's true, I also saw them near the old water tower. They were going to steal Pam's motorcycle, ride it to the floor mill. Chris jumps, nearly burning his fingers on the cigarette. Why the hell were they going there? We know his sister can make up any nonsense on the spot if she wants to take advantage of something, but ever he trusts she's a good girl, he doubts she'll lie. You can see right through his little sis. Ashley thinks she's a master manipulator, but her expression is a dead giveaway when she's lying. But Effie is different. They've known each other forever, and she never lies so bluntly. Unless, of course, it comes to stories about the ghosts that haunt the old school, or the mysterious drowned man the girls totally met at the lake that one day. Grandpa says truck drivers sometimes sneak bourbon into the factory in gas cans and sell it to the night shift workers. Best bourbon in the state, that's what he says. I bet they weren't going to buy it. They were going to steal it. Ha! That will be fun. He yanks his sneakers on and rushes for the door. Before he leaves, he glances over his shoulder and sears. Watch out for highs. If you are just trying to ditch me, your ass gonna be punching my punching bag next time. Ever, you don't count. Chris disappears into the night and Michael wipes the cold sweat from his forehead. He isn't gonna punch me, is he? Is he, guys? It's just Ashley Broad, not some damn high schooler who likes robbing kids. Ashley doesn't really agree. Chris has changed lately. He used to play sports, he's never smoked or followed complete eaters before. The parents were proud of his medals and trophies. They don't claim any college will accept Chris on an athletic scholarship if he couldn't make it academically. Then once he entered college, he'll straighten out. But there's nothing left to straighten out anymore. Nobody offers scholarships for partying or hanging around bad company. Chris' boxing gloves are already gathering dust under his bed. His empty shelves and hooks aren't expecting any new awards anytime soon. Let's just start, okay? She glances at the moon. The cassette is not the only reason she wants to hurry up. Turn it on, Brian. Brian changes TV to AV mode and slides the cassette into VHS player. Static noise dance on the screen, curved and covered in dust. The speakers let out a soft hiss followed by a squeak. Hope the tape's not blank, otherwise Michael's gonna get beat up for no reason. Michael shifts and glances around as if Chris might already be creeping up on him, his fist raised to strike. It can't be blank. Hurry up and take your seats. We don't wanna miss anything. Eva settles down against one of Bill's and her friends follow suit. The TV control is flickering, disrupting the peace of the shed. The wind sweeps out of the fields and stands on the server, sneaking through the streets like a wild animal prowling for our prey. It shoves the shed, making it sway and creak like a popping joint. Their only lamp flickers, casting shadows on the piles of garbage in the corners. Is there any other light in here? As if to answer Michael's question, a picture begins to form on the screen. The black and grey static strips morph into an image, taking on colors and shapes. One part becomes to the walls, another area changes into the created set of Friday Night Show. The rest turn into a body of a game show host wearing a stripped sweet jack. The host is half turned and staring at the camera as if waiting for a director's signal to start or trying to see the audience on the other side of the screen. At least he's not a maniac. Don't speak too soon. An invisible orchestra bursts into mood so cacophonous that the players should have been wiped for their miserable performance and never allowed to lay hands on an instrument again. Haha, welcome to the show everybody. Welcome, my sweet and miserable guests to the most unique, funniest, the angle abruptly changed and the studio suddenly looks less bright and cheerful. The walls have lost their false gloss and bright hues. Half the spotlights go out and those that remain are only dim, but those keep smiling. To the most unique, funniest and scariest show on TV. The friends exchange puzzled glances. Oh, I'll bet my hand that this is something you've never seen before and will never see again. Sadly, I've got nothing left to bet. I hate my hand before the show. Somewhere in the background, kind of laugh and applause ring out. The teenage cancers believe the host really did devour his hand before the show. His behavior is odd, his speech is too dramatic, he keeps breaking into screams, choking on his cackling. Somehow he managed to act both insanely cheerful and inappropriately gloomy at the same time, all depending on the angle the producer chooses. Bullshit, what a waste of time. No, wait, let's just watch a little longer. I never heard of this show. How about we give it a chance? Michael and Brian nods, staring intently at the flickering show. The host, as if waiting for the verdict, steps back from the camera, holds his hand out in an inviting gesture. So, come out, take a seat, the broken and prideful. Shot change. The reserve and those embracing everything new. The shot change. The brave, cowardly, dependent and free, get comfortable, enjoy. The screen ripples. The host's voice dwindles, then deepens. It sounds muffled, as if emanating from a cellar filled with soil. Yourselves. The picture dissolves into a rippled black and white mess, and a terrible crack bursts out of the speakers. The end. That's enough for today. What if there's more? Who'll spoil a old cassette to record such a short clip? Eva gets up from the pillow and goes to the VH player to fast for a beat. Her hands are ready, outstretched when the beeps speed up. They boom out, pass. Suddenly the beep sounds subdue, a steady hum emanates from the speakers. Eva freezes, speeding at the screen. How is doing it? No one answers. Ooh. Back to the drowning bowards. Act 5. The noise pouring out of the speakers absorbs all other sounds, but it isn't hissing, crackling or howling anymore, it's knocking. At first it's monotonous, but the knock soon speeds up. It bells their eardrums like a whole alarm clock, merciless rattling every morning. Eva shakes her head to drive away nightmarish vision and rubs her face with her palms, but the knock is still there, and Eva knows what's making it. It's a branch from old hazel tree her father has been threatening to cut down for 2 years. It must be once gotten its gnarled fingers caught on the windshield. It scratches the window every time the wind blows, but today a true storm is raging outside. The rain lashes the wind, covering it in dirty spots as the hurricane-like gusts shake the hazel tree like a school bully shaking down a junior. Confused, Eva checks her bedroom. Eva looks as usually there. The table and the shelves are perfectly arranged, the bed carefully made. Even the posts are still hanging in strict line, as if in an art exhibit. Eva loves it when everything is in place. Whenever her mother is overwhelmed at work, Eva and her father are left responsible for cleaning the house, and then less you litter, the less you have to clean. The book Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. Eva adored it as a kid, now she's rereading it to her younger brother. A VH collection, there's a light mystery in the first row, behind it are the slashers. The third row is reserved for Italian horror movies, marked with a strange world giallo. Okay. There was nothing there. The final photo was taken. Eva got her first brace. Tony was tiny back then, and their parents looked up. Her mother wasn't absorbed in her art career yet. Back then, she cared about her family more than canvas and paint. The Talentia flower, it looks like it sprang straight off the page of a fairy tale. A fan gave it to her mother at exhibition, and it's growing in a pot Ashley had made during extracurricular pottery workshop. The pot is the best, but Eva will never swap it out for another one. Eva's head shoots up as she hears quiet steps approaching. Tony? Her brother is standing by the door, shifting from one foot to another and holding a thick cardboard cup with a string shaken through the bottom. The string riffs on the floor and crawls through the hallway. His long-sleeved shirt with a pink dinosaur was Dad's gift for him last Christmas. Since then, Tony takes it off only at bedtime and for the laundry. Lately, Eva's brother always looked like a little confused, as thought he'll only wandering to Eva's room by accident after getting lost in his own home. His big eyes hold a strange expression she can't quite explain or describe. No matter how much she talks to him, words are never enough. Even when all his most important questions are answered, Tony just comes up with new ones. I fixed our thread. String without phone. Here. Yes, I could barely hear anything. Eva takes the cup and puts it on her nightstand. It's time to go to bed, baby. When you're all set, pull the string twice. I'll read some bedtime stories for you. She shuffles his hair and he happily runs back to his bedroom. They often talk to each other before bedtime because Tony isn't used to fall asleep alone. She has to chat with him with magical stories, retro movies and comic plots until he starts snoring. The string slowly tightens and lifts up from the floor, which means Tony is already in bed and ready to listen. Eva put the cup to her ear. She heard a familiar creaks and rustle from the other side. Can you hear me, Tony? Loud and clear. I fell asleep today by myself. Well, I almost did, but then I used some heat, thunder, and something creaked in the closet, so it doesn't finish. Yes, shame of his child behavior. Though he does his best to look brave for Eva. But blaming him for his fears will be foolish. Of course kids are scared when a storm is raging and thunder is crashing right outside, especially if their room is dark and windowless. It's easier for Eva as a child she learned to befriend her fears. She often left a bowl of milk or a handful of candy out in case a monster was lurking under her bed. Then it's not a monster anymore but a little buddy hustling candy wrappers in the middle of the night. Tony isn't the same as her, though she has to accept that. Then close your eyes and listen. I made up a new story. They are surrounded by a routine. She wants to calm Tony down the way she used to wish her father sweet dreams, to leave a croissant for her mother in the kitchen so that she'll remember not to drink milk or coffee on an empty stomach. What's the story about? Is it scary? I don't really want to hear a scary story today. No, it's a legend about a magical arcade machine that teleports brave and obedient kids into his world of adventures. For some reason, amid the whirlwind of thoughts and images racing through her mind, she shows the arcade machine, or rather, it shows itself as if it were alive. It appears in her mind's eye in all its beauty, that black oily luster and two scarlet buttons. But she can't present it to us as Tony. It needs to be wrapped in something brighter, lighter, and more mysterious. Her baby brother sighs with excitement. It must be dangerous there. There's a lot of monsters in games. It's an adventure. It wouldn't be an adventure without monsters. Without warning, someone opened the door. The string falls asleep. Eva drops the cup and gasps. Her mother enters the room, tired, disheveled, and soaked in the odor of solvent paints and coffee. Perhaps she worked too long again and remembered that missed dinner only after her dizziness and lower back pain cleared up. She always complains about that to Eva's father. Didn't hear you come home. Why are you up so late? She glanced at the cup holding on the floor. Evermore can scarcely understand what their children are up to. What's all that the late night storytelling for? Why can't Tony just go to bed and fall asleep? She's shocked every time one of them outgrows last year's clothes. Even now, surprise lights up her reddened eyes. Chatting with Tony again? He needs to learn to fall asleep on his own. Tell him to brush his teeth and go to bed right now. At least that will put these toys to good use. Of course, Mom. Tony almost fell asleep. Oh, today was so long but cool. We cleaned up the chemistry room, then we went to the arcade set, and then I came back home. Eva stops abruptly, something's missing, something crucial, but she can't remember, and judging by her wandering grace, her mother still hasn't returned from the world of image shades and episodes of other people's lives, all captured on canvas. You know what? You're right. Tony ought fall asleep without my shadow tonight. Good night, mate. Good night, Mom. She doesn't even get a smile in return. It's as if her mother's emotions have been drained out of her like water from shattered vase. Perhaps they have settled on her canvas instead, leaving not a single drop for real life. Year after year, work has devoured her, turning her into a completely different person. Good night, darling. I think I'm gonna have a cup of milk and go to bed too. Mom, going to bed? No, not her. Eva knows her mom will go back to the workshop soon. She won't fall asleep until dawn, completely exhausted next to her easel. When her mother closed the door behind her, Eva picks cardboard phone and hangs it on to hook her dad's screw into the wall, specifically to hold it. The cup already even touched Eva's hand when the string tightens again. Tony, go to bed. Mom just came and scolded us for chatting. You promised me a story about an arcade machine. Eva suddenly feels exhausted that she can't fathom making up even the simple story, not even another yarn about the brave veggie kingdom she stuffed his ears with since childhood to teach him to love healthy food. As she inert part of their mother fatigue, Eva's eyes water from drowsiness and her legs go weak. Eva doesn't want to upset Tony, but it really is late. They should have been in bed long ago, and there is no better weather for curling up under a warm, cozy blanket. But Tony isn't about to let her go that fast. For him, it isn't just rain or lighting outside, it's bloodthirsty creatures lurking beyond the walls. Only Eva's voice can keep their shadows from seeping through the air vents or cracks in the plaster. Go to bed, little one. I'll come up with 2 adventures for you tomorrow, I promise. Tony wants to protest, but the offer is too tempting. Sometimes he begs her to make up new stories about his favorite characters, but he mostly listens. 2 old stories waiting for him next night. It feels like the fair trade for one night peace. Besides, the thunder has already stopped splitting the sky, and now only the rain is hustling softly against the roof and grass outside. Okay. Sweet dreams. She puts the cup away, her eyelids seeming silent, but strange thoughts still occupy her mind. Not even bothered to put on her pajamas, Eva collapsed onto her bed and pressed her cheek against the pillow. Today really was long and hard, so much happened. The outburst in chemistry class, cleaning, walking along Riverwood Park with her friends, shopping square and arcade center. But what was next? So they don't remember seeing the cassette. There's a blank space in the memory between the arcade center coming back home, fragments of phrase, Mary, beeping music, a flickering light, and clouding it all, a black and white haze. Her lethargy evaporates. Eva rolls onto her back and stares at the ceiling. Something else definitely happened. But Mary keeps slipping away, getting lost. Something important happened at the arcade center. It's clinging to her and her friends like parasite, stubborn pulling them into the darkness engulfing Riverwood. Of course, the old town has been keeping the secrets of many generations. The ghosts of the ancient church Eva's grandmother told her about, the cursed coin, the bodies buried in the foundation of town hall. But those are just legends. No evidence of them has ever been found. She just needs to remember how she, Ashley, Brian, and Michael stepped into the arcade center, and then she hears a silent hustle next to her. The makeshift phone is crawling along the nightstand. Eva managed to catch it before it falls. She quickly pressed the cup to her lips. Tony, you are still awake? A sickening, ear-splitting screech is the only response. Astonished, Eva can hardly suppress her scream. That sounds just like the electric timer in the art workshop attic. Her mom set it up so that the jarring sound would distract her from her work every 3 hours. It reminded her that there are other people living in the house who she should spend time with. But why was that shriek next to her baby brother? She doubts Tony took the time to his room. Eva hurries into his room to check on him. The bed is empty. Eva throws up her hands. Tony rarely leaves his room at night. He always leaves a cup of water or milk on his nightstand before bed, so he won't have to go to the kitchen. And you'll have passed Eva's room if you'll gone to the bathroom. If nothing else, she definitely should have heard his footsteps. There is only one other place where Tony and her mom alarm clock could be at the same time. It isn't something he normally does, but she can't think of a better explanation. What a silly boy. Why did you go to the workshop? He should know better. You'll have the bad dreams if he looks at mom paintings. They could influence even an adult mind so terrible that there is always a nurse on standby at their exhibitions, ready to tear the most impressionable visitors. The thought of what Tony might see there horrifies Eva. She remembers how Ashley tossed and turned, unable to sleep after visiting the workshop during a sleepover, or she had complained about nightmares afterwards. If her boss sees those beds, she'll be all night distracting him from anxious thoughts. As for the next day, not even two stars will be enough. Tony, what's up with the radio silence? Not a single sound comes from the other side of the toy phone. Eva doesn't like it when mom scolds her, and she likes it even less when the one being scolded is Tony. And her boy is 110% going to be punished for going into mother workshop without permission. Eva creeps into the hall and peers around carefully. Only now does she notice that the string leads towards the attic entryway. It's hard to discern on the first try, as it's lying right in the line with the baseboard. Eva timidly passes her parched bedroom and hesitates by the stairs leading up to the second floor. Even there is a few of her mom's paintings, unpleasant to look at in dim light, are hung on the walls. Eva is used to them, but Tony still hushes past the hall, sometimes shutting his eyes tight. Their father has been planning to take them down or move them somewhere else, but doesn't want to upset his wife. He has no idea how to bring it up, so the image of a woman pressing her palms to her face, still staring into the corridor with white eyes. A black silhouette flits on the left side of the stairs. Eva presses the cup to her lips and whispers, "Tony, go downstairs while mom is in the kitchen." Alright, I'm coming up, but if mom catches both, I will get in trouble first and I'll have every right to be mad at you, Tony. Who knows, maybe you won't be getting ice cream this weekend? She smiles and walks upstairs. It's really hard to stay hungry at her little brother. All over the stairs are slinkish of all colors. Tony is always playing with them on the stairs, racing them and setting them up like they are contestants. Rabbit Mo, a stitched teddy bear named Pig, and shapeless stuffed owl Eva bought at the autumn fair. Whichever Slinky wins spends the night in Tony's bed as a reward, but Tony usually carefully cleans up after himself every night and puts the Slinkies back into their signed box. The mess he's left tonight is completely inexplicable. And Tony is on the stairs. The phone string is lasted through the gap under the door at the top. Even if switch the light on, a twisted light fixture flashed on, illuminating the workshop door and the sign hung on it. Inscription: "Keep out nosy." The words are written in with an extremely beautiful script, her mother's handwriting. A funny sketch of a three-headed dog guards the door. Eva painted that hellhound, we know what is that, 2 years ago when she was into Greek mythology. Their mother was delighted that her daughter liked it painted too, but it was Eva's last drawing. The door opens with ease, letting Eva into a short, narrow hallway. How are you safe in here? Unavailable, auto reading, screenshots, story, safe. Okay. The mom was always scolding kids for coming in without permission. Eva had a rare chance to see new unfailed works, but it isn't the kind of rule Eva's tempted to break. The older she gets, the less she cares about her mom's paintings. It isn't the framed nightmare she wants to see, but the person who creates them. The paints make a lasting impression on everyone. Some are enchanting, others are frightening. Mom mostly paints people, or to be more precise, their emotions. Eva prefers paintings of fairies, magic and fantasy, or ordinary photographs. At least that kind of art doesn't make Eva wonder why an orphan who's just been taken in by a family is crying amid their adoptive parents' shared joy, or why the wife of an unlucky worker is sad when he wins a considerable sum in the lottery. Taking a breath, Eva adds deeper into the workshop. The darkness thickens, it feels dense and sticky like sweet jelly. With every month that passes, it feels more distinct on the skin, tangling in her head and staining her blouse in patches. The light switch right next to the painting depicting hunger. As she reaches for the switch, Eva thinks about touching the cold, sallow skin of the dying girl in the picture. Meanwhile, a self-portrait of her mother, who looks more like shriveled-up corpse than herself, rears back as she about to sink her loose teeth into Eva's fingers. Oh, you need to press in here. The lamps flicker frantically, shocked by the darkness. Dad promised to fix the wiring a month ago, but so far he's only opened the breaker panel. Perfect timing. Eva mumbles aloud just to hear the reassuring sound of her own voice and to attract Tony's attention. Thought her brother isn't naughty, sometimes he hides and waits for someone to find him, but only over in his bedroom or Eva's. Why in the world did he go to the workshop this late? Eva begins to coil the string around her hand. The hope that is all just dumb prank or a silly childish game shields her from her darkest thoughts, and yet everything feels strange. Wrong, it's nothing like what she's used to. She wants the game to end with a stupid cry of "Boo!" from around the corner. Tony must have hidden behind some old canvas or the curtain. There is nowhere else to hide in here, so finding him will be a piece of cake. In the dark, she trips over one of the paintings. Damn it! Overcoming the unease, Eva realizes she's angry at Tony, at Dad, at Mom, the house, that wretched workshop where you can't even take a single step without tripping over some nightmare. It's like the frames, the hollow-up canvas, and the stools are throwing themselves on her feet on purpose. In the void, it depicts a broken woman who lost her baby in childbirth. The earth-broken mother has sunk to the floor, wrapping her arms around her stomach. A pool of blood is spreading beneath her. Such work are especially successful at exhibits. Once her mother even took her heart to personal showing in Indianapolis. Apparently that's why she's been painting more and more. The sadness, the pain, and tragedy of an ordinary person resonate the most with her audience. The Nameless, an unfinished work. A happy woman is carrying a puppy wrapped in sheets. Oh, the old fisherman, it's a silhouette of old man on a pier. If you look closely, you can see that he has neither fishing rods nor other gear, only a single knife. The water around the old man's feet dispersing into the lake as a crimson hue. The fish have fed his family for years. Maybe it's time to return the favor? What painting I'm missing? So, I know, I wasn't missing nothing, but it's like sometimes you press and doesn't pass to other. So I ever realized there's something wrong with the paintings. Her model usually paints people, features and facial expression in intricate detail to convey the most valuable aspect of her heart, emotions. But now the paintings are a mess of paint instead of face, as if they have been ruined by smearing them with wet palms. Tony, you better come out, isn't it funny? Both of us are going to be punished if Mom. The string coiled up around Eva's hand tightens. That's better, now to see where it leads. Eva slowly paced through the workshop, feeling the pervasive blackness on her skin. Nameless, unfinished and spoiled pages stare at her from the corners, while hooks and sloping shelves like a bunch of children. Somehow the sphere faces are visible even in the gloom, as if Mom added phosphorus to the paint. Seeing all those flickering silhouettes creeps Eva out. The fear crawls under her skin like hundreds of insects. It bites into her bones with its icy teeth and sucks out the heat. For a split second, a flash of light illuminates the room. Eva falls to the floor in shock. What she sees defy any logical explanation. The string, vibrating with tension, leads directly to a thick darkness clad in a gilded frame, like a pool of dark water swallowing the toy. The easel stands in very center of the room, though Eva could swear if it wasn't there for a moment. It feels like unfinished painting on the shelves are closing in, painted figures patiently stare at her. The string twitches and curves in her grip, becoming harder to hold with every second. Eva struggles to breathe. Fear floods her body, tighten around her limbs, and tangle her thoughts. She hesitantly raises her eyes and looks deep into the inky black painting. Instead, a wave of cold air washes over her, and a spray of tiny droplets hits her face. A bitter, biting wind blows from the bottomless canvas, its gusts carrying an icy drizzle. The painting absorbs the light cast from the window. Eva stares in horror at her hand as the ill-fated string cuts into it. For a second she steps to get rid of it, to chop it off with a knife, but what if the last thread connected her to Tony? She dares not approach the painting, doubts bombard her as the sticky fear muddles her mind. Stay. Eva gently pulls on the cup. On the other side of the painting, someone or something pulls the string frantically in response. A player for help, defenseless before an unknown threat, despair saturates every movement. All she promised to protect Tony from any danger, real or imaginary, and until tonight she never broken that vow. And Tony promised he'll never to let anything happen to Eva either, once he grows up. Let me save in here a second. Though she can't see or hear him, her thoughts reach out to him, to their happiest moments together. Warm memories of Tony's childhood pop into her head, shielding Eva from her impending madness. The ecstatic father announcing that she's going to have a little brother. Eva thoroughly prepares for his appearance, arranging bouquets of wildflowers and cutting out cardboard stars and rabbits. Before going to bed, she dreams of how they will rewatch the never-ending story together. The baby arriving joyful and bright, as if fairy tale world. He laughs in his cradle, looking at his sister. He sticks his hand out and grabs Eva's, his tiny palm clutching her fingers surprisingly tightly. Playing together among loose snowdrifts magically driven on Christmas Eve, Tony tires quickly and constantly falls, his blue boots lifting up to the sky. He whimpers, but Eva picks him up and carries him over on her shoulders. He laughs and hugs her with warm palms. And now amid nightmare to desecrate their home, Eva silently begs Tony to grasp the string as tight as he used to squeeze her finger and never let go. In return she swears she'll give him 100 slinkies of every color of the rainbow. Mountains of lollipops, clouds of cotton candy, which mouth forbids him from eating. Anything to keep Tony's fingers tight. Groaning, Eva yanks on the string. The paint replies with another gust of icy wind and splatter of drizzle that covers the workshop floor with dirty marks, as if not water but paint. The droplets fly in all directions, staining the neighborhood paintings and sketches. When a few splash hit the canvas, the painting comes to life and begins to change. The young and old man and woman, already frozen in unimaginable poses, are losing their natural appearance. Their arms grow longer, new joints comfort their fingers, their legs bend in the wrong direction, as if they're locusts on the face. What was a shapeless mess of a moment ago is now morphing into mutilated features. They look like Carol's sketch, distorting the emotions Eva model intended to depict, revealing them from another, previously invisible angle. Eva tugs the string hard. She puts everything into it, her desperation, love and fury at nightmare swallowing their home into a bubbling depth. Whatever lurks on the other side of that canvas, it will not take her baby brother. She always protect him, always save him from nightmares, and she's not about to let anyone hurt him now, no matter what monsters, real or unreal, come crawling out. I won't give up, never. Another more collection of black pearls surrenders. These few people in the page curious to observe what's happening, perhaps even delighting in her struggle, but ever afraid that she looks back, she'll lose her minds. She takes one step forward, then another. The early wind gusts make her sway, dousing her in pungent stench of paints and solvents. It knocks the wind out of her heart almost stops, skipping a few beats before hammering against her chest once again. Her shirt is soaking wet, growing tight and uncomfortable. Sweat pours off her face and freezes on her cheeks. Nah, no, don't look, turn away, go away. But Eva doesn't listen to her inner voice. Slowly, as if stuck in resin, she wades through the congealed air toward the painting in the gilded frame. The string in her fingers turns sticky and viscous, soaking glossy liquids. Pull! Something Eva attached to the opposite end slips across the floor. Eva mind wails and begs her to turn away and run, to shield herself with the door, but she just can't. The mysterious catch inches closer. Her fingers touch something soft, white strands of disturbing substance cling to her hands. Hair. It's heavily smeared with scarlet. The puddle of stunning rich red begins to spread across the floor. It's almost flaming in the dark. What the fuck? Eva collapses to her knees and wraps her arms around the decapitated head of the kindest and most innocent woman she has ever known. The toy's thorn string hands down, hooked onto the crevice of his vertebra. It looks like someone has ripped the head off his body as easily as tearing the cap off a ballpoint pen. Tony's eyes are cloudy and empty as fish. His mouth is frozen in a death wail. Black blood oozes from his nostrils. It's unimaginable, cruel, and unfair. No world can be so brutal as to let something like this happen. Not even in stories, not with Tony, not with her baby brother. No way! She sways, feeling neither the cold nor the droplets drizzling out from the painting in the glider frame. This can't be happening. It's hypnosis, hallucination, black witchcraft, or someone's imagination? Autorial intent. Eva saw realized that the painting of her sitting in the middle of the store and cradling Tony's head would look great in her modest new collection. Tragedy and pain, fear and tears. People will be glad to buy it, showering the artist with praise. They will rapturously stare at Eva's lips, contorted with grief, her eyes wet with tears, her gnarled fingers frozen on Tony's mutilated flesh. They'll admire her expression, wrapped with torment and tension so great that she felt like a weary old woman trapped in a child's body. The horror that thought evokes is sobering. I just can't sit back and wait for another terrible thing to happen so that I won't be able to change or forget. I have to get away, run, save myself on our parents. Never of the years that inspire have so much at thought challenge. It always seems impossible to defeat hordes of creepy creatures, escape an insidious trap or cheat death. But if you don't retreat or give up, if you make progress towards your goal, no one can. A flash of light floods the room, followed by a shuddering thunderclap. Reality is a lot different from fictional stories, no matter how good or full morals they are. And the fear is different too. It's impossible to hide from it by simply closing the book or turning off the TV. The paintings come to life. Oh shit. The characters liberate themselves from the captivity of canvas and frames. The paint transforms into skin and flesh. The jokesters look almost like people, all except from that start the proportions, some become even more deformed. Not the fuck. But the worst part is to feel painting. Inhabitants still capable of moving. They crawl out, jump like toads, hobble forward on stick straight legs. They like heads and limbs. The sketch turn into awful wounds, bloodless and dry. Barrel moving head takes one last look at their brother's head. It's real. I'm sorry, my little boy. I can't say you with you anymore. I'm so sorry. Eva drops the head and slowly gets to her feet. The painting in the glider frame now reaches all the way to the ceiling. The wind and splash of thick blackness have ceased sloshing out of it. Instead, brush strokes start materialized amid the inky penetrable abyss. Crimson grey, a little white, green and buckets of red. Eva steps back. She knows that will be in this painting. Don't you dare! Whoever you are, don't you dare! But the invisible artist is unstoppable. It relies its power to them. Ever lucky brother lives are more worthless than oil painting. It will finish, wipe the brush clean, and forget all about the miserable siblings. Just a little time, a dozen heartbeats seem to have come by. The canvas reveal a small, headless, skinny boy and tied into a dirty pajamas. Dead Tony in the middle of the workshop. But he isn't centered. It's missing a detail. Next to him, there's just enough space for one 40-year-old girl. Maybe she'll be mourning. Maybe she'll be bloated corpse, unable to escape the workshop alive. Holy shit. This is the last stroke dries, the fewer bodies turn to Eva. She can't see their face or eyes, but she knows they are looking at her. The bodies lurch forward to her to bury her forever in a coffin of canvases and paints. Eva shrieks so loud that her cries should wake not only their parents but their neighbors as well. That the house only answers with silence. The girl rushes to the workshop door, but its jam is shut and the hand won't budge. Shadows slither close, they don't make a sound, but from her periphery Eva can see a revolting crowd of revived garage. They are in no rush, they know Eva has nowhere to run, now it's their home, their exhibit, and sooner or later their magnum opus will be complete. The door surrounds and slams into the wall behind it. Eva flies downstairs and passes into the hall, sucking in the deep breath. The world in her eyes ripples and fades away, as if distorted by television static. Daddy! The scream sinks into the emptiness of the house like a storm falling into a deep well. No echo, no response, not even a ripple. Only a deathly silence. Help me, Dad! The walls devour every word. Dad's sleeping too deep, otherwise he'll definitely hear me. And Mom? She must have fallen asleep by the coffee pot. Eva clenched her fists helplessly. There is no time, but nothing is enough to wake her parents. And the thought of being embraced by the very arms that paint out those horrors make her stomach churn. Eva spared her mother is gifted with some kind of supernatural power, the kind that leads people to unknown paths, to where nightmares live, to where only prophets and ancients reach their threat. An hour earlier, she would never have believed it. But after what she witnessed in the workshop, seeking inspiration, her mother has found something forbidden and let it loose. Eva can't convince herself it was an accident. Mom must be in the kitchen, otherwise I'll already run into her here or in the workshop. I'll have to wake her first, and then together we can. Something clatters on the stairs. Got that. Sensing their prey escape, the human-like beasts speed up. The first is crawling downstairs, leaning against the wall with hacked off limbs. The fuck is that? One glimpse of that monstrosity is enough to forget any exhaustion, pain, panting, or headache. Eva rushes to her parents' bedroom. In dismiss, she trips and all but smash her nose. But the pain of falling in the least of her concerns. Just like she did after watching horror movies or creepy cartoons as a child, she rushed through the dark hall into her parents' room. Nowhere in the world was safer than their bed. Laughing, her father would build a cozy pillow fort where she could hide from any ghosts or creatures. Dad was always there for them, helping as much as he could until work swallowed him whole. Eva and Ashley wanted a treehouse. Dad never asked why. He just needed to know what they want to look like and where to bring the boards. The kids want to go on a trip to the farm by the lake. He helped them pack, bought them snacks, and reminded them to stay away from the water. He even gave Brian a homemade baseball bat and a knowing wink. Dad's never lied to her or let her down. She always been able to count on him. Dad's here somewhere. He's strong, he'll protect me, he'll fight them off. How does it matter? She wants to snuggle up to someone close, warm, alive, someone without that early stench. Daddy! He must be somewhere here. Even if Mom is still sitting in the kitchen, he's definitely catching Z's now, cause he gets up for work at 5 AM. Dad, where are you? Eva grabs the bed, pulls herself up. But in haste, she forgot that the workshop is not the only place her mother hangs her paintings. The bedroom is decorated with luxurious canvas some Central European weirdo owns ordered and even partially paid for. As a kid, when Eva was slightly interested in art, she used to love sitting in her dead armchair and gazing at that painting. In it, an aristocratic family competing in its sophistication of their wigs and the brightest of their makeup are gathered around the long table, ready to eat. Well, they are supposed to anyway, but Mom viewed their feast a little differently. The man and woman sit gloomy at an empty table. A huge plate lies before them, devoid of anything but a handful of wheat spattered with blood. The big big picture window in the background reveals a view of scorched fields, the blackened remains of burnt house, and the peasants' broken mills. Evan didn't really know what the client was looking for, but he had certainly been unhappy with the way her mother had depicted his family. That's why the picture has even more insulting details now, like a servant wheeling a log to fight off a pair of fat rats. Compared to her mother other works, Eva liked this one, but today, dangling out of cast are her father's legs, floundering in a pathetic attempt to escape captivity. Longing for Eva grabs her father's shins, but that split second of hesitation is just enough for the painting to completely swallows the strong man. The paint turns hazy, then mutates. Now there's her face shine with the light. The father in there. Jesus. On the table now, you'll see and shrouded in baked crust lies Eva's father, who fits perfectly on the enormous plate. The head of the family is sharpening the knife, and the guests leer at their cannabis feast, clutching exquisite forks with blood fingers. Even the rats wait under the table, hoping to grab a scrap or two. The air is awash with the sickening odor of paint, solvent, barbecue. Eva grimaces in terror. She wants to howl, groan, call for help, but she can only spit out unintelligible sounds like a sheep trying to bleat after its throat is slashed open. Everything precious to her has disappeared into a damn nightmare. Her brother laughs, the weekend walks with mom and dad, the comfortable home her parents devote years to create. The pains have taken all that away. But what happened to them? What bloody backwoods has her mother's thought led to her to? After all, she painted them. She put a piece of her soul in each of them, as she liked telling her audience at exhibition. What kind of soul does she really have? The very idea hurts. Worse yet, Eva doesn't even want to see her mother anymore. She can't bring herself to run to the cage and tell her what's happened. It makes no sense. Her mother made her a choice, and that choice killed Dad and Tony. And if Eva doesn't escape to tell someone, she'll be next. She has to, even if people think she's crazy, she doesn't care. If Mom wants to live in a world of madness and cruelty, there is no saving her. You chose the company of your parents. You love them harder than your own kids, so stay with them forever. To the front door, now! The kids are always hanging on the creative older her father made at work. It's an exact replica of their house, made with love and attached to every detail. But now the keys are nowhere to be found. They were not on dressing room shelves, the phone tablet or under the rug. Desperate Eva kicks the door, the last barrier between life and death. The door feels like a solid brick wall. Dad put so much time and effort into making it strong and sturdy to protect his family from anything outside. He couldn't have imagined that real danger would come from within. Now that very same door is sealing Eva inside a house of nightmares. It won't budge, oh no, am I never gonna get out of here? She looks around helplessly searching for another escape route. Suddenly her gaze lands on the most useless thing in their house. The dog door. Eva has always dreamed of having as many pets as possible, but since her parents' death and all the tears she shed for him, her parents have been afraid to bring new pets home. But last year, Eva, after ranking among top 5 students in her class, instead of giving her a gift, her father cut out this pet door. A hint that soon I can squeeze through. Tony always gets in and out easily when he's pretending to be a dog. If he can do it, I can too. That's not a safe thing. Eva drops to her knees and crawls to the door. It starts to squeeze her old boy in, so she puts her right hand through and pushes her with her legs. Yes, just a bit farther now. The smell of rain soaked the soil and paved it to her nose. The great relentless lash against the porch and the roof of the car parked by the garage, gathering in murky torrents in the gutters. The air feels damp and clean, no trace of the workshop's suffocating stench. Even the night seems surprisingly bright. Paintings and painted monsters have no place outside. If they dare to follow her, surely the rain will finish them off, dissolving them and smashing them against the pavement. Now head through, push again. She's not more than a foot away from salvation when she feels a foul touch. Something wet, sticky and hot wraps around her left wrist. The air fills with suffocating smell of paint and solvent, but they are quickly blotted out by the reek of a large, sweaty body. The monster grasps Eva firmly in place, not permitting her to move so much as an inch forward. She clings to half-open dog door, and spins around. In the brightest In the bright of streetlight, she faced a formless darkness. Before her eyes, the darkness splinters into pieces. She rather go blind than see this nightmare come to life. The hallway resembles a black hole hollowed out by a massive larva. Inside, something heavy whizzes and trudges closer until finally Eva discerns the horrifying figure. A gelatinous fat body trembles in the dark. It's hard to guess what that creature used to be. Now it's either swollen. The ship's apron covering its stomach is all but bursting. Granola arms sprout from a pallid flesh on its back. Like a toad, the bottomless mouth spills out a long tongue which coils around Eva's wrist. Letting out a strangled sob, Eva tries to free her hand, but the tongue won't let go. It bites into her skin, sucking on it with a horrible gnawing sound. The fat monster shudders and drools lustfully. "Get your hands off me, fiend!" Eva yanks her hand again. For a moment it seems like the monster's grip has loosened. Her muscles itch from the strain, and her fingers hurt, but she keeps fighting. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Oh no, I didn't know I need to press here. Didn't say what it was. Jezebel's tongue seems like it's about to slip up. It comes out her skinny hard. Her fingers swell and rapidly turn red. Shocked with horror, Eva can resist no longer. Eva turns as tight and unbreakable steel rope. The beast snaps its head back in a movement so powerful that she feels her shoulder blades crack. Pain penetrates at every joint. Eva skids across the floor, weakened and losing her will to fight. The dog flap is well beyond her reach. Escape is impossible. The dwarf falls away into the beast's gurgling maw and Eva drops it right after. Her death cry echoes around the house, the last noise she'll ever make. Wait, they are seeing and it's happening? But can we save her in there? Because I did that to the left, but it said wrong. To be continued. Interesting, she dies? Huh. So, basically they are seeing the television and it's like, but they didn't even move, that's why they don't remember what they did. Because they are still in front of television, so it's like even that real life they are watching TV, that nightmare, if they die in there, they die in real life, so they need to survive. But she dies in there, there is no way to save. So only if we need to run in that part, I need to try. You can't skip this? No. Okay, I'll see. But like I said, like in terms of artwork, it's amazing. I don't have nothing to say about that work. Artwork is like very, very good. Yes, to see the monster a little bit dark, but it's supposed to be like that, of course, because come on, it's an horror visual novel, it won't be bright. Yes, you can say, but they could show better, like instead of being so dark, it will be a little bit brighter. Yes, true. But like, I don't mind because it's to be like how it should be in real life. Like okay, if it's something happening like that, it should be like that. So I understand. But the only thing is, sometimes you are pressing right and doesn't move because you need to wait that the monster or whatever is happening to pass to the other thing to advance in the text. I want to see, is there a skip? Okay, this goes here. Oh, I need to do lowered in here. The first one to do it again. Is there anything to skip? Huh, is in here Russian? Yeah, it's English. It appear in there like that. Three, two, one. No! Oh, I know, that is to be faster. Okay. That you need to spam, okay. I know. Why it appears like this? That's a thing that I need to fix. Like you do lower than it's like not in English. That why? And that's why I say that needs to be fixed. Okay, so that we need to spam. Okay, the creature's tongue slips away and with a wet clack, it's sucked back into its maw. Small Victor gives Eva a burst of strength and agility. She dives back through the pet door, riffing like a snake. There we go. And slides outdoors. Let me save only. The beast flies out of his mouth again, but this time it hits the door. The monster howls and flounders in a helpless rage, but Eva can't see or hear it anymore. The rain shelters her from nightmares of the place she once belonged in. Then the world dissolves into a static noise, flooding her eyes and blurring her vision. A moment later, Eva is back to the shed, staring at the rippling screen. There we go! Yes! So basically it's gonna be 4 episodes, right? 4 episodes for each one. So first for Eva, then for the others, and the 5th, the conclusion. Okay, so it's 5 episodes it needs to be. But again, amazing. Like when I played the first time the demo and I saw the artwork, I was like impressed because for a indie developer making this artwork, it's amazing because like when you see this type of artworks, it needs to be sometimes it's only AAA that can do because they have more resource, right? For a indie to do it, sometimes it's hard. You need to put a lot of time, and so like with this, you see the artwork, you understand why they can't release the full game, right? Because it will take a lot of years to make this amazing artwork. Like, let's say that they want to do 5 episodes, like I say, right? Can be 5 episodes, 4 for each character, the 5th the conclusion, right? It will take a lot of years to make all the episodes with that amazing artwork. So they, instead of doing that, they went to Kickstarter to get more, like to fund it fast, right? To get more money to do what they wanted to do for this episode. The other ones, I don't know if it's on Kickstarter or not, but I think they never said nothing about that, how it will work. And like the only thing that I know is that the game is early access. When you buy it, you get all the episodes, right? Like in early access it is. But overall, and I like just amazing. The story, you want, yes, you can say, oh, but they saw certain parts of the story that you don't need to have, like I say in certain games. Yes, true. like I say, certain games that you don't need because they are explaining like the outside, oh, the house they are white with planks, oh, the cloth of that person. Those are a little bit things that you don't need to have, but I understand why they do that because it's like a book that you are describing that character for you to understand, like, oh, that character is X. So I understand why they do that on visual novels, but in perspective of a player, the player wants to advance the story fast to the action, right? Instead of reading those or the description of each character, the town, what they are seeing. So, like, would be bad for a player perspective to be only like go to the action fast, yes, but at the same time I understand the part of the developer that they want to give the detail of the town, the characters, what they are seeing. So like that they understand, but the rest, when you load, right, it appears in there a little bit Russian, then it appears in English, so that's a thing that they can fix. But overall, like I said, it's good, amazing, not good, amazing artwork. I like it. The story is amazing because you understand it's a boring town, right? And then that tape is something amazing that happens for them, and of course it's nothing good. That tape is bad, but I hope in the end of the game, right, when the last episode comes out, it's explained what that tape is, what happened to have that tape, to have that thing to happen to the people, and who made that tape is what I hope they explain, that they can't forget about that because they are watching the television and it's about that tape. So I hope they don't forget about the explanation of who created that tape, what is that tape, is it cursed, is it one of the secrets of the town. I hope they don't forget about that because I don't know how many years it's gonna be in early access, and sometimes developers forget about that. So I will love that they won't forget about that. But overall, amazing game, and if you like visual novels, this is one of them to buy it. You only have one episode that has, I think it's 5 acts, and but then you'll receive all the other episodes when they come out. Of course, you need to pay attention to that when they come out, but it's not gonna be super fast because for this artwork you need to wait. So yeah, it's already available, Pink Noise on Steam. If you like visual novels, go there, buy it, and enjoy the story. Of course, doesn't have a lot of choice. You could see that, but give it a shot. You're gonna enjoy the story, and you want to see more, but you need to wait. So hope you guys enjoy it, and see you guys next time.